What episode is this?
Oh my God.
We do this every time.
Maybe 17. Maybe.
I feel like this is 19.
Okay, well, we'll just say it's 19.
Welcome to M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers Podcast. I'm Jamie, and I can be found at m1yarns.com and M1 Yarns everywhere. And we are coming to you today from a local yarn shop. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bridget Dean, and I am the owner of Have You Any Wool in Berkley, downtown Berkley, that is.
And that is in Berkley, Michigan, because that's
sorry. That's right.
Because
you are a Michigan maker.
Yeah, you are a Michigan maker. And I am Danielle, also known as Danielle Craft 8. You can find me on Instagram from Ravelry. You won't find much of anything about me on Ravelry, but you can find me there. And we are coming to you from Metro Detroit, where it is sunny. We had a little bit of rain, but today is sunny, so I am very excited.
Yeah, we're getting great sunlight coming in the shop.
Yes.
And because we're in the shop, we're trying to, be safe and protect people. So, Bridget, you've been open a long time.
I have, Jamie. I've been open for 17 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's crazy.
That is awesome. That's something to celebrate. Shall we pop this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I get to do it?
You do.
Oh, gosh.
Should
I be trusted with, liquids and yarns?
Probably not. 17 years ago, because I've been crocheting since I was a kid, I would have not even imagined coming to a place that strictly sold yarn.
Right.
Because when I started crocheting, I was 10, and it was 1990.
Ooh.
And the only place I knew to get yarn, the only place that I knew to buy yarn, and probably most people was Frank's Nursery.
That's a throwback.
I don't think Joanne, because I think Frank's kind of became Joanne. I don't know if Joanne existed or Michael's became Frank's or something like that. But you wouldn't think to go to a place that strictly sold yarn. Right. And so 17 years ago, I wouldn't have even thought about it.
Well, there were some way back then. But I think certainly as the years have gone by, there's many, many more shops and not necessarily brick and mortar, but there are a lot of shops that are online. So to be a brick and mortar with this longevity is a testimony to my amazing community of knitters that support my shop and crocheters.
Yeah.
My staff, who are second to none. I'm just going to throw that right out there.
Okay.
So I have a great team, but that really makes you, if you're all moving together for the same goal, it makes it happen. Because it's never just one person.
No, it takes a village.
Yeah.
For sure it does.
Well, cheers to your shop.
Thank you.
And I'll cheers with my coffee because I have a lot of stuff going on today.
So you are almost literally around the corner from me.
Yes.
And so why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into not only knitting, but the yarn business?
Okay, so when I was maybe 6 years old, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, came over from Poland when she was 16, and she was a knitter, crocheter, and cook. I mean, she cooked amazingly, but that's another story. So when I was 6-ish, I want to say, she taught me how to knit, and it was pink acrylic yarn on these pink metal needles, and it was all wonky, but you could see my evidence of learning, and then I put it down, and for years I didn't touch it. As an adult, every time I moved, I took it with me. Then I started knitting again in earnest when my children were little. Because it was I can make these cute little things. And so I did that for a while, and then I guess I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And it just seemed like it sort of, things just sort of unfolded. I really am a firm believer in, the universe will present you with opportunities. You just have to, one, recognize that it's an opportunity, and two, then make a choice about it. So on a wing and a prayer, it was my friend who actually found the space, which when I began, I was next door. It's an alterations place now, but it was tiny, but I was like, it's a beginning. So I met with the landlord, signed a lease, gave a deposit, took a breath, went home, talked to my husband later in the day. He's like, so how was your day? And I was like, well, it was good. I this, that, and the other. And I signed a lease on a building. And he's like, what? I just took that leap and then told him about it after. And he's pretty supportive, though. So I've been in Berkley this whole time, 17 years in this past April.
Nice.
So I've been through a lot of ups and downs and all arounds and changes. And I just feel like it's important to be consistent and a little thick-skinned, but it's also important to be flexible. So
you've been a big part of the Michigan maker community.
Yeah, well, yes, and we also had and I'm going back because we haven't done this in a while, but Knit Michigan is it's a 501c3, and Joan at Heritage Spinning and Weaving, she and I started it.
Okay.
And it was a one-day marketplace, a day of education. You could take classes. You could donate chemo caps and other comfort items for anyone going through cancer in the entire state of Michigan. We still distribute chemo caps and comfort items from in the UP all the way down to the southern end of Michigan. So that part of it is still viable and going. But we had a blast with that. It was a great run. But then, sometimes all good things come to an end. And so that piece of it, the whole marketplace and educational piece, is no more, but we still certainly support people going through cancer and their families.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about, recent times when we talk about these ebbs and flows of being a business on a period, but also a yarn business where a lot of people can get yarn online and all these things. And then COVID happened.
Yeah, it did.
And so how did that impact your business, and how are you able to stay so resilient and continue to stay open?
Well, that's a lot, but all pertinent, and I can speak to all of it. So we were chugging along when COVID hit, and all of a sudden, everything shut down. And not only did everything shut down, we didn't really know, what is this? And, is this an Alfred Hitchcock movie? Or, where is it going? So there was a time of, okay, what are we going to do? So I decided to just go with the one day at a time plan. And I came into the shop every day, checked phone messages, checked my email. I am so eternally grateful to my customers and the community for keeping us afloat, for supporting us. People bought gift cards. We shipped yarn. I mean, we were going to the post office with bags of things to ship.
Yeah.
I did some nearby delivery. So we chugged along, and I had one staff member working with me during that time. And so what happens is, your day is suspended. It's not what it normally is. So you shift. All of a sudden, you're in the store and you're looking around and it's quiet and people aren't in and out and all around. So we made a lot of changes. I sat down and decided, okay, what yarns am I not carrying anymore? What am I clearing out? What do I want to bring in? And I really had time to be really thoughtful about that. That's when the Motor City Yarn Club was born. I had thought about it, but I'm like, time to execute. So we had been talking about doing something like that for a while, but it really does take a ridiculous amount of time and energy to get it off the ground. I was like, you know what? We're not talking to customers all day. Let's do that. So
we have time.
We made a list, and Jamie, of course, you're on that list. M1 Yarns was right there because 1, you're local. 2, I know you. 3, you do beautiful work. So you're welcome. So thank you for saying yes.
And so to clarify, it's a yarn subscription.
Yes, it is. So we sell it in 3-month blocks. It's this year it's all fingering weight. It will end, March will be the last month of this go round, but we absolutely have already started planning for the next one. But back to this, so I contacted all kinds of hand dyers from across the country, and the deal was, this is the Motor City Yarn Club, so the first year we gave you a list of people and places in Detroit to inspire you. But if you had a place that wasn't, or a person that wasn't on the list, we're open to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So people pick their place or person, dyers chose, I should say. And I have loved what I'm seeing from people. I mean, it's just so fun to see, like if you take, I mean, I know we're going to be doing an IG Live with you later. So I'm going to pick, let's just say Dream in Color. They picked the Eastern Market and they focused on the murals.
My goodness.
Mm-hmm. So much beauty.
Yes, yes.
I'm on a yarn diet.
Good luck with that.
I've been doing okay with an intentional skein slip up, but
sure.
Yeah, that makes me want to come off.
Good, yay.
Yeah.
So it's just been interesting to see people's interpretation of color. The month of November, I'm pretty excited about. Wonderland Yarns chose Rosa Parks.
Oh.
And she is near and dear to my heart. I mean, so a little side note story. My husband and our kids, my friend Lynn and her 2 kids were out to dinner one night. We were at Traffic Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband looked and he said, I think that's Rosa Parks over there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it is. So he tells the kids, come on, I'm going to go introduce you. We're going to meet Rosa Parks, blah, blah, blah. So they walk over and my husband says, excuse me, Miss Parks, I noticed you were here, wanted to say hello and introduce my children. Like, so my friend's daughter looks at her and she was probably, I don't know, 6 years old. Rosa Parks, I thought you were dead.
Oh no.
You know what? Most kids did.
Yeah.
My sister, she's 10 years younger than
Okay.
me. And I remember when she was about 7 or 8 and they were talking about Rosa Parks and she said, I don't want to hear about dead people. And I said, no, Rosa Parks is actually still alive. And I like drove her around like her neighborhood. Yeah. And I said, she's still alive.
Yes.
And so they don't
know.
A long time ago, old person did.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rosa Parks was so gracious.
Aww.
No, honey, I'm not dead. And she was very welcoming of this man and troop of kids that, interrupting her meal. So Wonderland Yarns chose her, and then we always include something fun in the box. So I love Firefly Notes, fireflynotes.com. She's done a couple stitch markers for the club, but this one is really special to me because when I reached out to her and said, hey, Rosa Parks, she's like, okay, let me think about this. So it was hard to get a bus or a mold for a bus. She said, what if I do a brass tag with the bus number on it? And I was like, it's perfect because it's just so commemorative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they just arrived the other day. And when I opened the package, I was just thrilled. So, I have to send her a note telling her how awesome they are. But so a lot of the people and places have meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Dream in Color, Veronica and her son had traveled to Detroit, went to the Eastern Market. They loved the murals. That was their meaning for that. And sometimes it's just, I know of this person because they're, famous or whatever, or I have fond memories of a place. But so that's how it started. That's what we, began doing. And I'm having a blast with it. The dyers are all like about it and taking things seriously and really, bringing their best. And so I'm really happy we did it. I'm happy we've gotten such a great response from customers. If anybody wants to subscribe, we're always open.
Yeah, I'll put the information in the drop down.
Perfect.
So they can contact you. I know when you reached out to me and said, would you be interested, and you threw out a couple themes, shall we call it? I knew right away which one I wanted, which we won't divulge yet. You'll have to tune into her Instagram Live in November for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my month is January.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew your month was January, so I was a little confused as to when the kits start going out.
Well, we do them like usually 2 months before because it gives customers an opportunity to, I've been on the fence about signing up. This sounds intriguing. I want to sign up.
Yeah.
And if you have the color ready, which some dyers do, we show the color, and that's an impetus to sign up. And people that are already in the club will say, you know what? I know we get one skein in the box, but I think I want 2 because I want to knit this, or I want 4 because I want to do a sweater.
Like 10 skeins.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Sign her up.
It's ridiculous.
I just emailed her a photo of like my first like test run, and like I had a vision.
Stunning.
I knew exactly how I wanted the skein to look, and I did a whole batch, and I hemmed and hawed, and I always have to look at it the next day with fresh eyes. So I looked at it all twisted up, and I said, that's how I wanted it, but how I want it is not necessarily like, you know.
Yeah, how she wants it.
So I sent her a photo, and apparently.
Yeah, I think I was all caps. Love.
She trusts you as
I
a
do.
dyer,
It's funny because my husband, he is a very supportive yarn husband, but he is most supportive by just staying out the way.
Yes. Yeah.
But he does have a really good eye for color.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had it sitting on our dining room table to take a photo. And he walked by just, you know, on his way to get a cup of coffee or something. And he said, "Oh, that's really pretty."
Wow.
So for him to say
Yeah.
that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he's very artistic. That kind of was like, oh, okay, so it's not just me.
Right. And honestly,
Well,
Jamie, I tend to defer to the dyer because I really think it's your process and your response to the place or the person. And so, you know, I've never said this entire time, like, oh, could it be a little more blue, or could you do a little, I don't mess with the color because I feel like that's your interpretation of it. So I don't have a preconceived notion. I'm just as excited as every club member to see what you come up with. So
I think the hard part as a dyer is like, what's my taste is not the next person's. And a lot of the yarn I dye is not necessarily what I would wear.
Sure. Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't please everyone, and you should have, I mean, just like you have in the store.
Yes.
You have to have a little bit of something.
Everything.
And you do have a wide variety.
A wide variety.
Huge.
Something for everybody. Like, if you're a knitter or a crocheter, I would say make sure you come here. I mean, look at those buttons, those... everything. And I think that's what makes a good yarn shop.
Yeah.
Like when you have something for everybody, because a lot of yarn shops just have what they have and it doesn't appeal to everybody.
Right.
But anybody can come in, and there are some budget friendly yarns as well, because a lot of misconceived notions that a lot of people get from local yarn shops is that everything is expensive inside of it, and it isn't. I've purchased like $7 skeins of yarn from local yarn shops, so
that's cool.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that, because we do try and have a variety. So
let's talk about what we're wearing. You want to start?
Yeah, so I am wearing, I wore this on podcast before. This is my Princeton Capelet. This is by Blue Skies Fiber, but I don't know the person who actually wrote the pattern.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we don't know, but the reason why I'm wearing this is because I saw you wear it, and I went back and forth. I was like, am I gonna make this? Am I not gonna make this? The yarn is expensive, and it was my birthday, so of course I have to buy myself something for my birthday.
Of course.
So I called, and you didn't have like enough of them. Yeah, you didn't have enough of them. I think you had like 3 skeins or something like that. So I had to go to another local yarn shop, and I wanted to support local. I could have gotten it online.
Yes,
I could have gotten it online, but I wanted to support a local yarn shop. Also, I like to have my things in my hand. I don't like to wait. And so I supported that yarn shop, and I made this. But when I saw your picture, when I was going back and forth, when I saw your picture, I was like, I am making it, because we're like almost the same height, almost the same shape, and that gave me an idea of like what this would look like on me. And I was like, oh, I have to make this. And so this was the first time I purchased, I would say, like luxury yarn, like probably, you know, the only time, because any time like $25 is probably like my,
and it's a upcycled cashmere.
Yeah. And so, funny story, I'm making another one. I have it on the needles now. I haven't touched it in a while because I'm trying to finish my Rhinebeck sweater.
We won't go there.
Long stressful story, but I am like literally calculating how long it takes me to knit a row, and I'm adding up that time, and I'm like, okay, I got an hour to get through this sleeve. So I'm on the sleeve. I just have a lot. It's a lot of construction with this thing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take this. This is gonna be my project. So my other color like the brown color. I forget the name of it. But I'm gonna take it with me. It's gonna be my project that I knit on while we're at Rhinebeck, because it's easy. You don't have to think. You just need to know when to decrease and just keep it moving.
Sure.
Perfect.
So
Cool.
yeah, that's what I'm wearing, inspired by you.
Thank you. Always nice to be a source of inspiration to some.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wearing, oh man, Ashton. It's an asymmetrical shawl wrap.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm blanking on the designer.
We'll insert it.
We always do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fingering weight, 3 skeins, 3 different colors.
Oh, wow.
Little picot edge.
Mm-hmm.
We have tons of fingering in the store. I have a lot of La Jolla from Ba. I have Dream in Color Smooshy with cashmere. I have Stitched Together. And this happens to be, this yarn is from 29 Bridges, and it will be in the shop by the beginning of November.
Okay.
In time for Shop Hop, which the Southeast Michigan Shop Hop is November 4th through 13th. Just a little plug for that.
Okay.
So I'm wearing the Wavelength sweater by Tina Say Knits, who we had on the podcast recently, and the navy is my own hand-dyed. And,
It better be.
And the contrast color is Lola Bean Yarn Company that I bought at Rhinebeck 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sweater.
Thank you. It was really fun to knit.
And it looks great on you. Like when you came in, I was like, such a good look.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This was so fun.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have to come back after Rhinebeck, because that's when my yarn diet is lifted.
Okay.
I have to come back and buy some yarn. I've been here before. I've gotten, you know what I love about your shop the most is that you have the notions that people need.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Like, if I know I need, like, a particular, say, flexi flip or something like that, I know I can call and you'll have it in stock.
Thank you. We try.
Oh, yeah.
So-
And if you haven't used Flexi Flips, you need to call Bridget and get yourself some for
Listen,
socks.
Yeah,
I
they're
should be
great.
like some type of flexi flip spokesperson,
Yeah.
because I love flexi flips and I have them probably in every size now. But
And they're
I know
hard to
that
find.
Yeah.
not if you call
Yeah.
Bridget.
That's true.
Because I called one day and I was like, "Do you have this size?" And I was like over here real quick. But yeah, I love the shop. I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
come back and shop. I don't know if I need any more yarn, but
When is it ever a
I
need?
know.
Yeah.
It's just
You
kind
know?
of like you have it and you use it when you use it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun.
Well, thanks so much for reaching out,
Yeah.
for having me. It was delightful to chat with you.
Thanks
And
for being part of the...
Yes.
oh, I'm delighted.
Community.
I'm really honored to be, and I'm looking forward to your Motor City Yarn Club month too.
Oh.
It's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
exciting.
I can't wait to see
Yeah.
this.
Cool.
So until next time, friends. Bye.
Bye.